Yeah.
It's time that we got this together.
You bought your checkbook, didn't you? Well, then don't worry about it. It's okay. Yes, that's right. Hey.
It's funny, the birthday wishes I got from people,
Yeah.
90% of them are politicians who are asking me for money.
At the same time, they're wishing you happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
Happy
by the
birthday,
way.
Jerry. By the
By
way.
the way, I have an event coming up on blah, blah, blah.
All right, 7:30.
Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy
And here he
came
is, ladies
home.
and gentlemen, the birthday
Every
boy,
day
Mr.
from
Jerry
there.
Springer.
Thank you. As we're recording this, I was born at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. It was 11:45 in England.
In the tunnels of the subway, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
It was, yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah, but 15 minutes later, it would have been Valentine's Day.
Oh,
So on this day? On
Yeah.
this day?
Yes.
his birthday.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
That's how that
Where's
works.
Catfish, the owner of Folk School Coffee Parlor? Might be appropriate. We have some candles up here. Would you mind lighting those?
Could we have a little more manly candles?
I think they're adorable.
What am I, 5 years old?
I mean, most
They're
people,
super cute.
most people
Yeah.
listen to
manly-
this on
Oh.
audio, but
Oh.
Jerry's
so-
being given a piece of. Oh, this is the
Applesauce.
applesauce
That Abraham
pie. Lincoln's
Can you be
favorite
heard?
pie,
Yeah.
applesauce pie.
Abraham Lincoln's favorite pie.
Yeah,
All right, are we
Didn't
going
work
to sing?
out well for him, but otherwise.
that's right.
Gene, are you going to lead us in song here?
No, someone is. Who is it that can lead us in Happy Birthday?
There we
Come
go,
on over.
everybody.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Harmony, very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Here's the thing. You know how they do in the newspapers? They have that column every day, today's birthdays, and they always list, people that are, for whatever reason, reasonably well known. And my name has been in there, I guess, for the last 25, 30 years, just for various jobs. But they do it chronologically. Like if you look at the list, they start with the oldest and they go all the way down to the youngest. Yeah. So I was always, when it started out, near the very bottom of the list. So I looked this morning. I'm the third oldest out of 25. Yeah, George Siegel is like 84.
Yeah.
There's someone who's 76, and then there's me at 74. I'm 2 away from having it be over.
That's top billing, though. It's top billing.
Yeah. Do you think we should be looking, and Megan, you can help us because we'll need help on this, be looking for like a nursing home or something
Absolutely.
that we all can move into, and then we could do the podcast,
Do the podcast from the home.
Wheel us
This
out
is true.
chairs.
Our daughter Katie, she's found a nursing home which is real near to where she lives in Evanston.
So that's where
Yeah.
you're going to go, huh?
She's getting you set up.
She's already getting us set up.
It's not a bad idea.
It is nice though. They have cable.
That's all you need.
Can you
That's all.
imagine you in the home? Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I'll put on shows.
Oh,
I'd be great
my God.
walking down the hall. Because you know what would really work at the nursing home? The gentleman down at the
I
end of the
hate you.
hall. He's got this hearing aid.
You saw him?
Yeah, his name's Mordecai. He's got
I saw you talking to Mordecai.
yeah,
Mordecai.
Mordecai, and he's got
Mordecai.
this hearing aid. He says, Gerald.
It's the best hearing
I'm
aid.
not even going to do the joke anymore.
What time is it?
What time is it? No, what
kind is it? I know.
How can you miss that joke?
I've tried to block that joke out of everything.
Anyway, thank you. It's nice to have a birthday.
Yep. Hey, Megan and Jerry, I was thinking, you know what I like about myself?
Please, tell us. I'd really like to know, actually.
Let me say it.
I can't even conceive of what that would be.
I was thinking the other day
What?
about a thing of like walking into like a Hertz rental car place
Oh, yeah.
and walking up to the counter and saying, "Can I rent a car for a week?" And they say, "Sure, fine. Pick your car," and I pick the car, and I simply say, "It's unlimited mileage." They say, "Yeah, it's absolutely unlimited mileage." I rent the car. I go out with a couple of other drivers, and I drive for a solid week, 24/7. And this is the part that's so cool, Megan. You pull back into the lot. You've rented cars before, right?
I have.
You pull into the lot. There's an attendant there. Typically, he or she has a little handheld computer.
Yep.
And they click in, and they do the walk around to the car, and they always go to the odometer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to walk away because once you're there, you're kind of done. They got your credit card number. And they look in, and they look in again. And they say, "Mr. Galvin, could you come back here? There's a mistake. Something's happened, and I got to check the paperwork because there's like 30,000 miles here on this car." and that is the big idea of winning the world, setting the world record for the most miles on a rental car in a week. What?
There is no prize for that. There is
No, there's no $5,000 prize.
No,
and
there's not.
$5,000 for technical support. No.
When are you getting to the big idea?
Look, Jerry, to do what I just described, and we've talked
Yes.
about it before
Yes.
many times.
I thought
in
this
many
was dead.
situations.
In many situations, yeah.
But
Usually when there's a lull in the conversation.
yes, it's called a filler. But you know, Jerry,
What, James?
one wonders,
What?
could I still play the game? I'm like, you just turned 74, I turned 74 6 months before you.
Yeah.
So Sunday, I walked out of a very nice restaurant at 10 in the morning,
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida.
Yes. Oh, you went,
I walked over to my car, had my first wife, Bonnie, with me. We got in the car, and Jerry and Megan, that was 10 o'clock in the morning. At 2 in the morning, I pulled into my driveway in Ludlow, Kentucky. I did what we professional drivers call a 14er. I drove straight from
You drove from Orlando
Orlando, Florida, straight
Yeah.
to Ludlow, Kentucky. Stopped for dinner, stopped for lunch, dealt with about an hour and a half of an ice and snowstorm in central Kentucky.
Did you do all the driving, or did Bonnie help out?
She did not drive 1 inch. Not 1 inch. So I can do this. I can
What
go
was
out
the
and
point?
break
No,
the
why-
world
what
record.
was
Why would you do that?
You could have stopped and spent the night.
Idiot. Do you think that's what they said to Sir Edmund Hillary? Why did you do this when they climbed Mount Everest? People do
Yes,
stuff.
people asked him that.
The Kon-Tiki went around.
They absolutely did ask Everett.
They did, actually.
Why did
Yeah,
you
see, it did seem kind of stupid, didn't it? I think he lost a couple toes, if
Maybe
I'm
he
not
did. Yeah,
mistaken.
maybe, Gene.
So you
Anyway.
did it straight through from
I did a
Orlando
14er.
to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I
a
was
14er.
thinking driving.
Well-
a couple times I thought of you. I thought, I
When
looked for the
we-
carbon footprint up there as you
As you
Yeah.
fly over.
heading for Stamford, Connecticut. Could you drive from the drive time from Cincinnati, from Sarasota, basically to Cincinnati is Ludlow?
Yeah.
Could you picture yourself doing that, getting in your Bentley or your...
I'll admit, not at this age anymore, because I like taking naps.
Yeah.
So, but when we were younger, you remember we used
we
to
did.
go on vacation we went on vacation to Florida or Hilton Head, and we
Yeah.
would probably drive 14 hours, but not like you. We stopped a ton of times
We never
to
were
eat.
allowed to stop. It was a mission for my father. If you're in the
yeah.
car,
Oh, yeah, Megan.
you're getting down there, you stop twice to pee, and that's it.
That's it. Well, we
It
peed
was-
in bottles. Well, Bonnie didn't. She used like a roll of paper towels or something. No, no,
tell
no,
you.
no. Okay,
Again,
that's too much. That's too
again,
much.
Bonnie Galvin
That's,
is a lucky
that's
lady.
why she's your first wife.
Hey, let me tell you something.
What?
We have this thing going on with Noel Paul Stookey of Peter, Paul, and Mary, and his daughter, Liz Sunday. She lives in, I think, in Maine, or Vermont, actually, and he's out in, I think, in the California area. But they have this national charity called Music to Life. And we joined up with them, Jerry Springer Podcast, to find an artist in Cincinnati of any genre to award that person with a grant and then also technical support if they would use some of their creative time to hook up with a nonprofit cause in Cincinnati, in the Cincinnati area, and make some music. And I just want to report, we have some amazing proposals that have come in.
Good.
And the deadline is now passed, but We have people from all genres and from all demographic backgrounds. We've got performers who write opera, Americana, folk, bluegrass, gospel, rap. It's amazing.
Really
and so
cool.
now it will fall to the judges to pick the best person, and then all of this will culminate with by the way, a Master Series performance of Noel Paul Stookey at a podcast here on March 4th, Sunday.
Right.
At 3 o'clock, so we're excited about that. So I just wanted to report, and one last thing on that. If you are willing, and you can't come to any of this, but you want to help sponsor that artist in residence at this nonprofit. I can't tell you who the winner is yet because we won't announce that until March 4th.
Right.
But it's going to be somebody good, and it's going to be for a good cause. The causes include things like homelessness in Cincinnati, libraries, public schools, moving opera into poor neighborhoods where people have no clue about why do I care about opera? And yet opera deals with frankly, some of the same issues rappers deal with.
Absolutely.
It's like, dark side stuff. And
Jerry Springer, the opera.
there is a
huge.
show just came off Broadway in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So-
really-
no,
that
opera.
really happened.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of opera, actually.
Oh, I am too. I just can't believe that Jerry Springer the opera really happened. That was a real thing.
Oh, it was with the Royal Opera Company
Yeah.
in London. Yeah, it's real. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
I had nothing to do with it.
Unbelievable.
It was just about me. But I don't want to.
No, that's pretty much it. So anyway, we got, all sorts of very worthy causes, ecological causes, gun violence, violence against women. There are various nonprofits that touch on these examples I'm giving. And each artist sort of connected at Freedom Center in Cincinnati, a Smithsonian-level museum that's here. So anyway, we're real excited about that. We'll tell you more as we know more. But help us. You can go to this. It's simple. GoFundMe.com/music to life, MUSICTOLIFE. So GoFundMe.com/music to life. If you go there, you'll find the Music to Life site where you can just give $5, $10, whatever you want to give to help sponsor this artist. We're trying to raise $20,000. So we have a big goal ahead of us between now and the end of March 4th.
It's really
And
cool.
the basic idea is really a lot to do with the idea of this whole podcast when we had the idea 3 years ago.
You're right.
That we wanted to combine music and politics in a sense, or social causes. Well, thank you very much. You keep telling me I got to turn my phone off.
That's not my fault.
Of course, it always was off. Yeah.
Turn itself back on. Yeah.
By the way, this is our.
No, that's good.
By the way,
One
this
of our
is
crew
our.
members, by the way. In fact, it's the same crew member that always says, "Everybody, be sure to turn your phone off." That's Jim Bruce.
Yeah, but the idea is that there is a connection between music and social causes. Historically, there always has been, because music is a very effective way of communicating ideas and social causes. Oftentimes, when there's some kind of suppression or there's no power in that particular community to articulate what their concerns are, they get the word out with music. It certainly was a powerful force during the civil rights movement, during the years of slavery, during the anti-war movement, during the women's movement. Music makes a difference, and what we're trying to do now, just one of many organizations around the country, is getting the musicians of today to get involved with their music in the causes of today. So we think that can be a powerful voice. And Gene, you're the one that's really been the driving force of this. So good for you.
This really was a
appreciate
good
Liz
idea.
Sunday, and I give credit first to Liz Sunday, who's been doing this for a while, and an easy teammate to try to get this to happen in Cincinnati. And by the way, as Jerry says, this has been going on forever, and it happens across the country. And Music to Life really is and could be the show group as to how to do this. What I love about what they came up with is hook up with a nonprofit, so it's real specific. It's not just, I think I'll write a song about freedom or homelessness. No, write music for a homeless shelter and raise money through their website and fundraisers and sell CDs that you made in your work for that homeless shelter.
But it can't be for the Trump Tower.
No, right. In fact, we're very clear. It's got to be a progressive social cause. We didn't BS anybody about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, it is very cool. And we're going to do these in New York City, Los Angeles, various places, Dallas, various places around the country.
It's very cool.
So, we're very excited about it. And again, GoFundMe.com/music to life. Appreciate any help that you can give. Hey, Jerry, we wanted to ask you something. This thing about a man named Porter, who was the secretary at the White House handling all these classified, very important documents, has gotten himself in trouble because he's had accusations from 2 wives and a former girlfriend of abuse. This White House seems, I don't know, is it out of control? He's maybe the tip of the iceberg, but is it a bigger problem than just Porter?
Yeah, it is a bigger problem, and the White House is a mess. I mean, even if you're a fan of Trump, which I'm sorry about that, but if you are a fan of Trump, you know, his greatest supporters admit that, oh my gosh, they got to get a hold of things here because it's falling apart. You know, it's being ripped apart at the seams. Let's just quickly talk about what the situation is, because when people hear this, it may be a week or two later, and you know the news happens so quickly. But it starts with Rob Porter. Rob Porter, as Gene just said, was the secretary of the president's staff. He is the one person that anything that goes to the president, any correspondence, any position paper, anything that goes to the president, he sees. And he's the one that says, okay, here, Mr. President, I need you to sign this. I need whatever. And that includes anything that is absolutely top secret, you know, for the president's eyes only, anything. There is no security information that has to do with our country that the president has to see that doesn't go through in front of his eyes first. That's how important that position is. It's not publicly known who the person is. I mean, you never see him holding press conference or anything. But in terms of the running of the White House, he is right there with the president. His name of this one was Rob Porter. And it turns out that he didn't have permanent security clearance, which is unthinkable considering what he hands the president. And the reason he didn't have the permanent security clearance is because, as Gene said, the FBI and the security people found that there was credible evidence, as exemplified by the way of a picture of the woman's black eye, that he had beaten 2 of his ex-wives and his current girlfriend. And there was clear domestic violence, and so they decided they can't give this guy full clearance. He's subject to blackmail, whatever. Then there's this fellow called David Sorensen. David Sorensen is the speechwriter for the president. When you listen to the president's speeches, what... They claim he graduated from the 3rd grade. I don't know. No. But his name's David Sorensen. He's a speechwriter for the president. He was denied permanent clearance as well, security clearance. And with him, he also beat his ex-wife. And so they couldn't give it to him. When you look more closely at this, they then found out there are about 40 people, including Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of the president, the one married to Ivanka. There are 40 people running around the White House who see all this stuff, who do not have permanent security clearance. This is the most secret documents for the security of the United States of America, and we can't even give these people clearance because of something that is going on in their lives. Every one of them subject to potential blackmail from people who don't have our best interests. Then, and this has been an ongoing, remember, this is not like the first month or 2 of the presidency. when, sometimes it takes time to get it all done, so they give a temporary clearance while they're finishing their... This is a year and a month later. Never has it been this long in any other presidency. And how lack of importance they give this is, remember Michael Flynn, who was the national security advisor. He didn't get a clearance. And this is, what are we doing? This is the security of our country. All right, there are three issues here. The first issue regarding the first two people I mentioned, Rob Porter and David Sorensen, has to do with the White House condoning violence against women. The White House condones violence against women, not just because they let these people work there despite what they had done, but because it comes from Trump on down. He always takes the view of the man. Never believe the woman. Even if 100% of the women aren't telling the truth. Some are, right? If not most, perhaps all. But he's got 19 women that have accused him of inappropriate sexual behavior. And you add to that his support of Rob Porter, where he says, oh my gosh, this man's career could be ruined. Never once in his state, he says this is really sad, never once mentioning that he punched his ex-wives in the face, in one case causing a black eye, grabbing another around the neck. David Sorensen supports him. It's sad what's happening to him too. He suddenly says, whatever happened to due process? What? Donald Trump saying whatever happened to due process? I don't remember yelling for due process when he said lock up Hillary. Where was the due process there? What about with the Central Park Five? These were 5 teenagers that were accused of murdering a young woman in Central Park. 5 African-American teenagers. They were found not guilty because they found someone else who did it. So clearly they were not guilty. And he takes out a full-page ad in the newspaper, says they're guilty, regardless of what the jury said. Due process? And what about due process with immigrants? They're from this country. They could be killers. Get them out of the country. In this environment, he is basically saying his defense of Roger Ailes, his defense of Bill O'Reilly. It's always the man who is being accused of hitting a woman, sexually assaulting a woman. He brags about it on that famous tape. And yet, never for a second believing the woman. And because of that, everybody else sails through in the White House. Trump can't say, I can't take you because you beat a woman, because the guy will turn around and say, oh yeah, what about you, Mr. President? Trump can't even say that when he's asked a question by the press. He's trapped. That's how he sets the moral example for the White House and for the leadership of our country. Now, even if you're sick enough not to see this as a horrific issue of domestic violence, what about the whole idea of the security of our nation? Because every one of these people that got through because you didn't want to kick them out because of domestic violence, every one of these people is now subject to blackmail. And, blackmail, maybe we've seen too many spy novels, and it happens very subtly. Somebody's got something on you. And maybe you go out and you have a drink, or you go to lunch with someone. and they're saying, well, we'd really appreciate it if you could just give us this, and what do you know about it? And then kind of let them know that, don't want to have to say what you did in that hotel room. Don't want to, we got this police report here. We don't want it to be public. And believe me, if it comes, let's say, from a Russian operative, they work hard at finding people in America that have something in their background that can be used for blackmail. And that puts our country at risk. Just to get information, not that they're going to attack us right away. And we know that's going on. We've admitted that the Russians are going to affect the coming election with the voter rolls and all that stuff. Look at the information they can get just by somebody along the line that works for the Secretary of State, let's say. In some state, can get hold of the voter rolls or some information about the voters. We're such an open society, blackmail is a powerful weapon. And then they said, well, okay, we're going to get this guy Kelly. He's a general. He's the grown-up in the room. He's going to fix this White House. And what we found out is that Kelly is basically Trump with discipline. He dresses up, speaks in a deep voice. He's been a general, served his country. But his views are Trump's views. His views on race. His views on women. He was given the information about what Rob Porter was doing. He's chief of staff. And he let it happen. And he puts out a statement. Supporting, he's saying, one of the best men I've ever served with. This Rob Porter is great. While he knew what Porter had done to his ex-wives. And by the way, the person who wrote that statement, Hope Hicks, the 29-year-old ex-model who's now dating Rob Porter. She wrote the statement for Kelly, saying, I support this man. I mean, what is this, a fraternity party there? Who's running this country? So finally, let me say this. This is what all this issue comes down to. Why is it such a mess? Why do we have this quality of person in the White House, all the people that work there, which whatever our political slant is, you kind of got to admit that this is the craziest, most dysfunctional White House we've ever had. We have had more resignations or firings in the first year of top people than has ever happened in American history. I mean, that's statistically provable. Top quality people top positions from the National Security Advisor, Chief of Staff, they're gone. One after another. I think there are 45 people that were cleared out from the White House staff already. Why is this happening? There are probably two reasons. Number one, most good people, very well qualified, that have great respect for our Constitution and our government and our institutions, Republican people, don't want to work for Trump. It's kind of a black mark on their career. It's embarrassing. They don't want to have to tell their friends, yeah, I do work for Trump. So a lot of really top people on anybody's list, because believe me, let's say Kelly, who's now the chief of staff, he would love to get qualified people. That's one of the arguments why he kept Rob Porter. Because Rob Porter, everyone agreed, was effective in his job. And he couldn't get rid of him because they can't find qualified people. Because qualified people don't want to work for Trump. Except there are a few qualified people out there who would want to work for Trump because they think they can protect our country from him. But Trump doesn't want them because he demands loyalty to him rather than to the country. And these people aren't willing to do that. And so we are now in a mess because of Trump. The best people don't want to work for him, and those few that are willing to help the country aren't willing to give Trump the loyalty pledge that he demands. And so we are now stuck with unqualified people in the White House. Every one of Trump's scandals, Trumpists or Trumpians, whatever the word is now, Trumpians and Republicans keep making excuses for him. In private conversation, they'll admit that this guy's got a screw loose. But they keep supporting him. We hear about his bigotry, the racism, the misogyny, conspiring with the Russians, financial money laundering, indictments, guilty pleas. There's always an excuse by these Trumpians and Republicans for, well, we got to just ride it out because we can get our tax break or we can get our piece of legislation that we want. So they make the deal with the devil. Well, now we have domestic violence. So my question is this. How much of a tax break do you need to be okay with your wife, your daughter, or your mother being punched in the face?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this evening we have with us Fruition. They're coming to the stage now. Hi there. Hey there. What's going on? I know, right?
That's the happy note.
Balance, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, please? Talk a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and...
Oh, hi, yes. We are a band called Fruition. We are located out of Portland, Oregon, but mostly we live in the white van that's parked out in front of the coffee shop.
Fair.
You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
I'm Kellen Acebrook. I'm one of the 3 songwriters in the band. This is Mimi Naja. That's Jacob Anderson and Jeff Leonard there on the electric bass.
Nice.
We also have a drummer. He's not in the house tonight. He's doing other things, but
Got it.
It'd have been hard to fit him up here anyway.
Yeah, it is. It's a little tight up there. So the first song that you're going to share with us this evening is Turn to Dust.
that's right.
All right. So, and you said there are 3 songwriters in this group. 3 of you write together? All right. Cool.
3 of us. But yeah, the song's called Turn to Dust. It's on our latest album we just put out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, February 2nd.
February 2nd.
Very cool. And where can we find that?
Well, we brought some to the coffee shop.
Excellent.
So y'all can get one. On
He's
your
like,
way
it's
out.
right out there. You can go
In
get one
fact,
right
you're
now.
not allowed to leave without buying one. They're $15. Actually, I don't know how much.
The doors are now locked.
But yeah, it's online. We have a website, fruitionband.com, and it's on Spotify and iTunes and all that.
Very cool. And how long have you guys been playing together in this?
About 10 years.
Oh, wow. No kidding. Very cool.
How about that?
How did you all meet?
Luck.
Yeah?
Good answer.
Very cool.
So want to do this tune here?
Let's hear it.
Want to play that weird chord?
Oh yeah.
What's that weird?
Watching it all fall apart. Standing side by side, letting love die and doing nothing. Ooh, nothing. And let the hole in my heart and goddamn, it hurts so bad to do nothing. Such a terrible scene. It's like one of them dreams. I've no control over my hands and feet. I'm stifled when I make a move to speak. And you turn to dust just beyond my reach. I wonder if I will ever get it right. If it comes back around, or will I curse the sky till I'm buried in the ground? Yeah. Oh, till I'm buried in the ground. Yeah. Till I'm buried in the ground. must practice what I preach. I thought I'd learn, but now I'm not too sure. 'Cause if this is the cost, is it truly better to have loved and lost, or to have never loved at all? I'd like to pick your brain, see if you feel the same and feeling nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of them dreams. I've no control over my hands and feet. I'm stifled when I make a move to speak, and you turn to dust just beyond my reach. I wonder if I'll ever get it right. If it comes back around, ooh, or will I curse the sky till I'm buried in the ground? Yeah. Oh, till I'm buried in the ground. Yeah. Till I'm buried in the ground. Yeah. Oh, till I'm buried in the ground. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
For Jack Johnson, is that correct?
Correct.
That's really cool. When does that start?
Late April?
I love Jack
Late April,
Johnson.
We've got
early May.
5 shows in the South with him.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah,
Very
we're
cool.
We're stoked.
Heck yeah. All right, so check them out again, fruitionband.com. And what's the next song you have for us this
It's
evening?
called Let's Take It Too Far.
Okay.
Never wanted what you got, still trying to get to where you were. Were you ever really there? Was there a doubt or were you sure? I'm always reaching for that branch, one that's always out of reach. I'm always howling through the moonshine like a dog without a leash. Take me out into the country. I wanna burn with all the stars. I wanna be there when the sun comes round. Let's take it too far. Tonight's gonna be the night. There ain't nothing you can do. Somebody's gonna fall in love. Somebody's love will break in two. Don't you worry about dying, 'cause there's no better way to go. We're singing till we're out of honey, pour the gravel down our throats. Take these chains from around me, take this pain from my heart. I wanna melt into the midnight. Let's take it too far. know there's gotta be a reason. I know I don't know what it is. I think it's somewhere in the third verse. gonna dig for it. Oh, how the melody moved me when it came to an end. Man, I wish you could have been there. I'll never be the same again. So let's do a little something. Take the makeup off our scars. Let's get swallowed by the beauty of it all tonight. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far.
That was awesome. Your harmonies are so cool. I love it.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Love it.
How's that pie, Jerry?
How is that pie?
I'm telling you, Lincoln is now my favorite.
I was gonna say.
Oh, man.
Looks good. I've never had one.
You've got to have some.
Apple
You know
sauce.
what? Put it on my bill.
Matt's got one piece left, so.
Yeah. It's good. You guys are.
Yeah,
great.
that's a
Thank you
lot
very
of
much.
fun.
This is-
Beautiful.
We had heard your reputation preceded you. And we
Yeah.
had heard this is a band that's like blowing up
Yep.
around the country, and
Yeah.
it is.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I mean, and that's indicated by the people you're opening for. But this sound is. You guys are really good. Thank you. Thank you for stopping here.
Yeah, thank
This
you.
is really great. Thank you.
This is. Oh, man.
Very good.
It's an
All right,
honor
we're
and a
gonna-
pleasure. I've definitely spent many hours after school watching the Jerry
There's-
Springer.
You betcha.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Now,
I don't
let's
need
see.
to ask the next question.
Let's see if all this changes after Jerry sings the second verse with you
Oh,
guys.
man. This,
Down by the riverside.
no, we call this the career ender. you don't want to. Oh, man. All right.
All
What
right.
kind of tempo you like there, Jerry?
I sing in L sharp. I don't know.
I gotta change my capo.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever you guys do, I'm really flexible.
He's a.
Yeah.
Again, check them out at
That's
fruitionband.com.
great.
All right.
I'm feeling it now.
Watch out.
Well, I'm gonna lay my heavy load down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Yes, I'm gonna lay my heavy load down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Get it, Jerry.
I can lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Oh, y'all come back now, you hear?
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Get that man some applesauce pie.
Guys, I got some CDs right out here in the lobby. Make sure you grab one, would you?
Thank you so much for having us.
They have a show here in town Saturday evening.
That's right, at the
over here in
Octave.
Covington, Kentucky. Look it up. And come on out to the show, won't you? We're back here next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. All right? We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having us. Something that'll let you feel better after I know you were kind of upset last week about the